Hello, what's up guys? Good afternoon. I'm Jasper Andoy, and today I will discuss to you the engineers and various types of organization as part of engineering management topic. So, without further ado, let's start! Which is the engineers in various types of organization. From the viewpoint of the engineers, organization may be classified according to the degree of engineering jobs performed. The first level of engineering classification are those minimal engineering jobs like engineering in the retail firm. These engineers plays a vital role in the retail business. They are the ones who regularly refitted and or refresh and build new products in line with any program of expansion. They are also needed to solve the problems of a retail sector, in which they are the ones who find solutions to alleviate the problems of that sector. The second level are those with a moderate degree of engineering jobs like transportation. Transportation engineers focus on designing new transportation systems and infrastructure including highways, airports, trains, bridges, etc. They do this by analyzing data, identifying problems, and solving them with innovative solutions. The third level are those high degree of engineering jobs like construction firms. These engineers are the one who design the structural backbone of different infrastructure. They design, plan, and do the analysis of a construction project. So now, let's proceed to the main ideas of this topic. The first idea of this topic is to show the law doctrines of employment modified by the law to ensure the safety of the employees in the workplace. This thing here is the main idea of our topic today, for this is a vital thing we must now know if we're finding a job and or making business someday. The second idea of this topic is for the employees to be familiarized with the culture of the organization in which they are employed. They must know it and take advantage of organizational resources in order to enhance their own integrity and independence. The third idea is engineers and managers have legitimate but different perspective. We must know this for us to distinguish the decision that should be made by the managers or from the management perspective and the decision that should be made by the engineers or from the engineering perspective. And now let's tackle the conflict between the engineers and the managers. Although engineers may not always maintain as much identity with their wider professional community as some other professionals, engineers do often experience conflict between their loyalty to the employees and to their professions. Most engineers want to be loyal employees who are concerned about the financial well-being of their firms and who carry out instruction from their superiors without protest. At the same time, as engineers, they are also obligate to hold paramount the health, safety, and welfare of the public. Many managers are not engineers and do not have engineering expertise, so communication is often difficult. That's why engineers sometimes complain that they have to use oversimplified language in explaining technical matters to managers and that their managers do not really understand engineering issues. Many engineers who are not managers aspire to the management role in the future, where the financial rewards and prestige are perceived to be greater. Thus, many engineers who do not yet occupy the dual roles of engineer and manager probably expect to do so at some time in their careers. This conflict can be internalized within the same person because many engineers have roles as both engineers and managers. In order to be morally responsible in an organization without suffering the fate of employees, engineers must first have some understanding of the organization in which they are employed. This knowledge helps engineers to understand how they and their managers tend to frame issues under the influence of organization and how one can act in the organization effectively, safely, and in morally responsible way. And we're now moving on the next part of my topic, which will discuss the engineer-oriented companies, customer-oriented companies, and finance-oriented companies, or as we all know, the three types of organization culture. In engineering-oriented companies, there are general agreement that quality takes priority over other consideration except safety. Engineers often describe their relationship to managers in this kind of firm as one in which negotiation or arriving at consensus was prominent. Then, engineers often said that managers would rarely overrule them when there was a significant engineering issue, although they might make the final decision when primarily such issue or such costs or marketing are decision making is similar to the engineering-oriented firm in customer-oriented companies but with four significant differences. The first is managers think of engineers as advocates of a point of view different from one of their own, whereas managers must focus on such business factors as timing and cost, and engineers should focus on quality and safety. And second, more emphasis is placed on business consideration than in engineering-oriented companies. Then the third one, as with engineer-oriented companies, safety outranks quality. Sometimes quality can be sacrificed to get the product off the door. And lastly, communication between engineers and managers may be somehow more difficult than in engineering-oriented firms because managers are more concerned about engineers withholding information even though consensus is. In finance-oriented companies, these firms are more centralized and this has important consequences. For example, engineers may receive less information for making decisions and consequently their decisions are given less weight by the managers. Then managers are less inclined to try and reach consensus and engineers are seen as having a staff and an advisory function. Well, time's up! That's the end of my topic. I hope you'll enjoy and get some knowledge on it. Thank you for watching.